Hey there, friends. Let me take you back to 1968 for a moment. I was 22, standing in my folks' driveway, polishing my cherry red Mustang with a rag and a grin. I'd spent an hour getting my hair just right, think Elvis meets a little too much hairspray, and I was sure I'd catch every eye at the diner that night. The sun glinted off the chrome, and I could hear the jukebox in my head spinning tunes of youth and prom. Now, decades later, the Mustang's long gone and my hair's a bit thinner, but I still catch myself wondering, do I still have that spark, or has time tucked it away? What about you? Do you ever ask yourself if you're still the one turning heads? Maybe it's not the flash of youth you miss, but something deeper, a quiet glow that's grown stronger through the years. Aging's a curious road, isn't it? We swap smooth cheeks for laugh lines, quick steps for a steadier stride. But there's a charm that deepens with every mile. It's like a river carving through stone. Time shapes us, smoothing edges, leaving a beauty that's hard-won and true. Today, I want to share 7 signs that you're still a good-looking older man, not just in how you look, but in how you live. These aren't about chasing the past. They're about the richness you carry now, the kind that fills a room with warmth and stories. So, pull up a chair, maybe pour some tea, and let's chat. You might just see yourself in a new light by the end, a reflection that's less about mirrors and more about the man you've grown into, steady and full of heart. Sign 1. You often get approached for advice or assistance. First off, have you noticed how folks seem to seek you out? Maybe it's a grandkid asking about fishing, or a friend needing your take on a tricky choice. That's no small thing. It's a sign you've got a pull that goes beyond the surface. The National Institute on Aging says about 70% of us over 60 are the ones people turn to for guidance. That's life lessons from the elderly at work, plain and simple. It's like you've become a compass in their storms, pointing north with a wisdom carved from decades. You don't flaunt it, but they feel it, a steady hand on the wheel of life. Whether it's a practical fix or a heart-to-heart, they lean on you because you've walked past they're just starting, and that trust is a quiet crown you wear. Take my pal Richard, 67, a retired carpenter with hands that tell 1,000 stories. He's not one for mirrors, but at every potluck someone's tapping his shoulder, young fellas wanting tips on fixing a porch, women asking how he stays so level-headed. He shrugs it off, saying, "I just talk, but it's more." His steady voice, the way he listens, draws them in. There's a softness in his weathered fingers as he sketches a repair on a napkin, a patience that hushes the room. People don't just want his know-how, they're hooked on his calm, his depth. Women especially feel that strength, and it's a quiet kind of handsome. He's a rock in a rushing stream, offering a foothold without fanfare. They linger not just for answers, but for the peace he carries like an old familiar song. You've got that too, I'd wager. It's not about being the loudest guy in the room, it's the way you make folks feel at ease, valued. Maybe it's how you tilt your head, eyes crinkling, or share a tale that unravels their knots. Next time someone asks your advice, give yourself a nod. You're shining brighter than you know. You've got a gift for settling hearts, a warmth that's grown richer with every year. It's not noise or flash, it's the stillness you offer, a harbor where they drop anchor. That's a beauty time polishes, not fades, and it's yours, woven into the man you've become with every step. Sign 2. You receive compliments on your style and grooming. Now let's talk about how you step out. Ever hear, "That sweater looks great on you," or "You've got a knack for picking ties"? Those words mean more than you might think. AARP says 65% of us over 50 have a style that turns heads, and I'll bet you're in that bunch. It's not about flashy trends, it's the way you've found what suits you. You've shaped a look that's like a fingerprint, unique and worn with ease. It's the scarf you've tied 100 times or the hat that sits just right. A little piece of you that tells your story. That's a quiet art, a canvas of years, and it catches eyes with a grace you've earned. I know a guy, Robert, 68, who's been showing up to bingo night in pressed shirts and a neat silver beard. One evening, a lady said, "Robert, you've got the best hat here," and he chuckled, thinking she was teasing. But it kept coming, folks noticing his clean shoes, his faint cologne. He told me, "I just like feeling good." And that's the trick. It's not vanity, it's pride in yourself, and it glows. There's a twinkle when he buttons his cuff, a lightness in his step as he tips his cap. Women catch that effort, that confidence, like a soft light in the dusk. They see a man who cares, not for show, but for himself, a warmth that lingers like the scent of cedar on an old jacket, drawing them in without a word. You do that too, don't you? Maybe it's your favorite jacket, or the way you keep your hair trimmed. It's a little thing, but it says, "I'm still here, still me." That's life lessons from the elderly. Showing up for yourself keeps you radiant. Perhaps it's the boots you lace with care, or the watch you've worn since 75 ticking steady as your heart. Each choice is a nod to who you are, a thread of dignity stitched through time. People feel that pride, that rootedness, and it shines like a lantern on a porch. You're not chasing youth, you're claiming now, and that's a handsome that only grows brighter. If you've made it this far, thank you for spending a few quiet moments with me. If today's message gently reminded you of something true in your own life, please leave a comment with number 2 so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so. Just click the bell so you won't miss any future videos. This channel is a small corner where experience is valued, kindness is shared, and growing older is seen as something meaningful. Your presence here is a gift, and I'm truly grateful you're part of this journey with us. Sign 3. Women hold eye contact with you longer than usual. Here's one that's subtle but strong. Women lingering when they look at you. Ever notice someone's eyes staying on yours a touch longer than usual? That's not just chance, it's a hint of something real. The American Psychological Association says eye contact is a top way we connect, and for us older folks, it's less about flirtation and more about meaning. Your eyes carry a lifetime, and they're listening. They've danced through joys, weathered losses, and now hold a quiet knowing that speaks without words. It's like a book left open, pages worn but rich, inviting a glance. That pause in their gaze isn't random, it's a bridge built by years, a spark of recognition that you're still a presence, still a story worth reading. There's Charles, 72, a retired librarian I met at a coffee shop. He was flipping through a paperback one day when a woman at the next table met his gaze. She looked away, then back and gave a shy smile. Charles laughed. I thought she'd dropped something, but it wasn't that. His easy posture, the kindness in his face, held her there. His gray eyes twinkled with a lifetime of tales. His shoulders relaxed like he'd found peace in the chapters of his days. She didn't say much, but that look spoke volumes. It was a quiet nod to his gentle strength, a moment where time slowed, and she saw the man beneath the years, a soul still bright, still drawing her in with an ease that felt like a familiar melody. You've had that moment, haven't you? Maybe at the park or a family dinner. It's not about being a heartthrob, it's the warmth you've built over years. Women see a man who's settled into himself, and that's a draw no gray hair can dull. Perhaps it's the way your eyes crinkle with a laugh, or the steady look that says you've seen it all and still choose kindness. Next time it happens, don't brush it off, smile back. You're still stirring hearts, lighting a flicker in someone's day with a presence that's grown deeper, not dimmer. That's a gift time refines, a quiet fire that burns steady, and they feel it, even if you don't always see it yourself. Sign 4. Women naturally gravitate toward you. Now this one's a quiet joy. People just seem to drift your way. You step into a room and folks start chatting. Women asking about your garden or sharing a story. It's not loud charm, it's a gentle pull, like a campfire on a cool evening. The Census Bureau says about 60% of us over 65 become the heart of social circles. That's you, isn't it? You've got a presence that's like a porch swing on a summer night, inviting and steady. It's not forced, it's a rhythm you've found, a knack for making space where folks feel seen. They gather not because you demand it, but because you're a hearth they can warm their hands by, a gift of years well lived. I've got a friend, Tom, 70, a farmer with a laugh that rumbles. At the farmer's market, women, old friends, and new faces gather around his stall. One asks about his apples, another about his old truck, and soon he's swapping tales with a crowd. He says, "I'm just standing here, but it's more." His open face, the way he nods, makes them feel welcome. His sun-lined eyes crinkle with every chuckle. His voice rolls out like a breeze over the fields. That's attractiveness. Lifting others up by being you. They're drawn to his stories of harvests and hard days, to the way he leans in like each word matters. It's not just the produce, it's the comfort of his company, a rooted ease that turns a stall into a gathering place. You've felt that pull too. It's life lessons from the elderly in action, knowing how to connect without trying too hard. Maybe it's your grin or the way you ask after someone's day, opening doors to their hearts. Next time you're out, notice how folks lean in. It's not luck, it's the man you are. You've woven a web of trust through years of simply being there, a quiet strength that holds a room together. That's a charm that doesn't shout, it hums. A steady note they can't resist. You're the oak they rest under, and that's a beauty that blooms fuller with every season. If you've made it this far, thank you for spending a few quiet moments with me. If today's message gently reminded you of something true in your own life, please leave a comment with number 4 so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so. Just click the bell so you won't miss any future videos. This channel is a small corner where experience is valued, kindness is shared, and growing older is seen as something meaningful. Your presence here is a gift, and I'm truly grateful you're part of this journey with us. Sign 5. You have a confident, relaxed presence. Let's talk about how you carry yourself, because this one's a treasure. You move with a calm that younger guys can't match. No fuss, no rush, just a steady grace. The Mayo Clinic says confidence often peaks after 60, and it shows. You don't need to shout, people just feel you're there. It's a stillness that's like a deep river, smooth on top but strong beneath, carved by years of holding steady. You've let go of the hurry, found a pace that's yours alone, and it wraps around you like a well-worn coat. That quiet assurance isn't loud, it's a whisper that fills the air, a gift of time that says, you've arrived. There's George, 74, a retired electrician I know. He's not one for big talk, but when he walks into the diner, eyes follow. A cashier once said, "You've got a quiet strength," and he just smiled. It's his easy stance, the way he listens, like he's got nowhere else to be. His hands, lined with decades of work, rest easy on the table, his gaze soft but sure. Women feel at home with him, drawn to that stillness. He told me, "I've learned what matters." And isn't that beautiful? It's a peace that settles like dusk, a strength that doesn't flex but holds firm. They linger near him not for noise, but for the calm he offers, a steady light that glows without flickering, rooted in a life well lived. You've got that too. Maybe it's how you sit, solid but soft, or how you speak, clear but kind. Life's tossed you storms, but you're still here, rooted, real. That's a handsome that time can't touch. Perhaps it's the way you rest your chin in thought, or the slow nod that says you've weighed the world and found your balance. You've turned chaos into calm, and it shows in every gentle move. You're a tree that's weathered seasons, branches wide and strong. That's a beauty that doesn't fade. It deepens, and folks feel it, drawn to the quiet power of a man who knows himself. Sign 6. You receive subtle compliments about your physical condition. Here's one that might surprise you, folks noticing your spark. You've got a firm grip, or you don't act your age. Ring a bell? The CDC says 55% of us over 65 keep moving, and it shines through. You don't need to run marathons, just stay in the game, and it shows. It's the way you swing a hammer or stride across the yard, a vigor that defies the calendar. Every step you take is a quiet rebellion against slowing down, a flame that flickers bright in your bone. That's not just motion, it's a life force, a testament to years of pushing forward, and people see it like a sunrise breaking through the morning mist. Take Thomas, 69, a neighbor who loves his daily walks. He was raking leaves one fall when a woman passing by said, "You've got more energy than my husband." He grinned, brushing it off, but it stuck. People kept noting his straight shoulders, his brisk pace. Thomas said, "I just keep going." And that's the heart of it. It's not about perfection, it's life. His boots crunch the gravel with purpose. His breath puffs white in the crisp air, alive and steady. Folks see a man who meets each day with a nod, not a sigh, a spark that warms the chill around him. It's not just his walk, it's the will behind it, a rhythm of resilience that pulls their eyes and lifts their spirits. You've got that fire too, don't you? Maybe it's how you haul wood or climb a step. Aging's no picnic, joints grumble, mornings slow, but you push on with grit. That's life lessons from the elderly. Staying alive keeps you glowing. Perhaps it's the way you heft a bag of feed or stretch to prune a branch, each move a small victory over time's weight. You've turned creaks into courage, a spark that dances in your eyes and hands. That's not just strength, it's a light that says you're still here, still fighting the good fight. People notice, and it's a beauty that burns brighter with every hard-won day. If you've made it this far, thank you for spending a few quiet moments with me. If today's message gently reminded you of something true in your own life, please leave a comment with number 6 so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so. Just click the bell so you won't miss any future videos. This channel is a small corner where experience is valued, kindness is shared, and growing older is seen as something meaningful. Your presence here is a gift, and I'm truly grateful you're part of this journey with us. Sign 7. Women laugh at your jokes, even the corny ones. Last up, let's talk laughter. If women giggle at your one-liners, even the groaners, you're in good shape. Stanford says humor ties us together, and as we age, it's less about polish and more about heart. You don't need a stage, just your own light. It's the chuckle you share over coffee, the silly pun that slips out at the store, a spark that's yours alone. That's not comedy, it's a thread of joy woven through years, a gift that doesn't need rehearsal. It's the way you lighten a moment, not with flair, but with a truth that's weathered and wise, and they feel it like a breeze on a heavy day. Henry, 73, a retired postal worker, is a master at this. He's got a stash of oldies like, "Why don't eggs tell jokes? They'd crack up." At a church supper, the table roared and a woman said, "Henry, you're a riot." He winked, "Keeps me spry." His easy joy pulls folks in. And that's the magic. His voice dances with a grin. His eyes light up like a kid with a secret. It's not just the punchline, it's the way he tosses it out. Light as a feather, warm as a hearth. Women lean closer, caught by the lift in his tone, the playfulness that says life's still fun. That's not performance, it's Henry, raw and real, turning a quiet night into a chorus of laughter with a heart that's never grown old. You've got that knack too. Your quips might not be slick, but they land because they're yours, honest, warm. Women laugh not just at the line, but at the lift you give. It's sunshine in a sentence and it's pure charm. Maybe it's the groaner you drop at the grill, or the sly jest that sneaks into a chat, each one a little burst of you. That's not about timing, it's about the joy you carry, a lightness time can't dim. You sprinkle it like salt on a meal, and they taste the life in it. That's a glow that doesn't fade, it brightens, and it's yours to share. Wrapping up, you're a gift to the world. Well, friends, there you have it. 7 signs you're still a good-looking man, inside and out. Maybe you've caught glimpses of yourself in these, smiling at moments that ring true. Aging isn't a fading light, it's a richer hue, a tapestry woven with every laugh and tear. The Arthritis Foundation says 80% of us over 60 feel prouder now than ever before. That's you, a masterpiece of years, brushed with bold strokes of courage and grace. Life's taught us a thing or two, hasn't it? It's not the wrinkles that define us, but the wisdom they frame. The quiet knowing that what matters most is how we lift each other up. You've learned to weather storms with a steady heart, to find joy in the small things, a shared joke, a kind word. That's the beauty of growing older. We don't just endure, we bloom, rooted deep in the soil of experience. You're not just a face in the crowd, you're a gift, a living story that inspires. So what touched you most? Was it how folks turned to you for guidance, or the calm you carry like an old friend? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a note below. Let's ponder together. What's one sign you've seen in yourself lately? How's it shifted your view of these golden days? What's a memory where you felt truly handsome, not just outside, but in your soul? Share your stories. We'll weave a little circle of warmth right here, a place to nod and say, I've been there too. If this stirred your spirit, pass it along to a friend, spread the goodness like a ripple on a pond. And if you've enjoyed our chat, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so we can keep these talks going. Your support keeps this hearth glowing for all of us. I'll leave you with a proverb my dad swore by. A man's face is his autobiography. Yours, my friend, is a bestseller, full of chapters of grit and grace. Keep writing it with every step, every smile. Take care, and I'll see you soon.